So in this video, I want to explore, and I'll do this in a couple other videos coming up, how thoughts can be useful. So in the last dozen or so videos, I've been deconstructing thought, showing how thought is illusory and that no good could come of it. And there is some truth to that in the sense that we overuse it. So we are mind wandering half of our waking day. And if you look at one of the videos I've done on that research, the mind wandering actually contributes, if not full out causes anxiety and depression. So we're overusing it. But that doesn't mean that if it's used sparingly, it may not be a good thing. In fact, when we look at thinking, if it's task specific, it seems to improve the performance on that task. So if we limit it down, and maybe our ancestors only thought when it was really useful. And so in one experiment, they had two groups, and they both did the same task. It was an anagram task. And anagrams are when you have one word like inch, and you have to rearrange the letters to make another word like chin. And so both groups did the same task, but before they did the task, that's where the manipulation came in. So they had a control group, but the experimental group was explicitly told 5 minutes before the task, start thinking about anagrams. So when we look at the brain, that makes a lot of sense why this group did so much better, because the brain is organized in terms of specialization. And so different parts of the brain do different things. So if you have a brain injury, the first thing they want to know is, where is it? Not necessarily how bad the injury is, because different parts of the brain do different tasks. And so if you start priming that part of the brain that does anagrams or language or math or any particular type of function, you're going to improve your performance on that task. So we found it a useful function for thinking. Of course, it was 5 minutes before you do the task. Now, the other research I'm going to describe came from the 70s and 80s. I'm going to take maybe hundreds, if not thousands of research studies, and I'm going to just put them all together. Because in the 70s and 80s, cognitive psychology was dominated by the topic of mental imagery, our mind's eye, which is thinking about a task. And I'm going to summarize it all, because what they found, and I've done all kinds of experiments like this, usually as a class, and it was fun. We'd go over to the gym and do free throws, would do a little golfing, any kind of physical activity. And if you think about successfully making the shot or successfully making the free throw, if you imagine it in your mind's eye, you do better than someone who doesn't engage in that thinking. And so one really useful role for thinking is if you have a task and it's very, very specific, and you have very specific thought of successfully carrying out that task, another useful thought has happened.